Hi everyone, it's Keto with Plants again.
Hi.
April 1st,
April 1st.
no fooling.
No fooling.
All right, well, we wanted to talk about some vegetable related matters today. People that are already ketogenic are probably not getting as much as they may like, or they may be having difficulties with maintaining a ketogenic diet for more than a few months. I know for myself, after a couple months, it really got to be kind of I don't know, limiting, and I really didn't feel as good when I was eating lots of meat and dairy products. Certainly the benefits of ketogenic or ketosis were there, but I just found that it was hard to continue. And I think one of the issues for me was, what can I eat that's a plant?
Right.
So maybe you can kind of go over the different classes of vegetables, maybe even get down to the specifics of what would be keto friendly.
Yeah, I remember going through and just craving, oh my gosh, I need plants. I have to get plants right now. I have a big salad. So plants, I guess the way I kind of think about it is plants that are more wet, I feel like are more ketogenic. A lot of plants can be carby or starchy, so beans have too many carbs, definitely. So hummus would be out, which I like hummus, so that was kind of a bummer, but I have hummus recipes. And then actually all the root vegetables, so beets have too many sugar and too many carbs. That was kind of a bummer. But I guess the healthiest plants are leafy greens. So any kind of a leafy green I'll make. I would make burgers, but now we found a cool burger that we can wrap in a collard green and kind of grill it, cut the big vein out of the middle, and you can kind of wrap it, and it holds all your goods into a burger. Feels like a burger patty.
Yeah, and I have to say I was shocked. It tasted just like a beef burger.
The Beyond Meat burgers.
Yeah, just phenomenal. I mean, obviously you cook it really well, but
I just followed the instructions.
But
3 minutes inside.
But the flavor and texture, it just, you have no idea it's not beef.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. That was a pretty exciting discovery, those burgers. So check, we replaced that. But yeah, collard green makes a good wrapper for a burger. You can load it with all kinds of stuff. Then even chard, remember when we discovered how good chard was? I just chop up some shallots with it. Shallot's kind of a cross between an onion and a garlic, so it's one thing to chop that tastes like two things. I like that too. But yeah, just we found a vegan butter that's really good. So saute the vegan butter with the shallots and the chard, or spinach or kale.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms. All that's really good. So all the leafy greens you want, they're good sauteed or baked or.
Oh, and leafy greens. Just throw a little science in.
Yes.
So one of the really fascinating things and personally helpful for leafy greens is that they are a resource for nitrates in the food supply. So nitrates, when we chew them, we actually release the nitrate in the mouth, and then the mouth contains bacteria that are able to take nitrate and turn it into nitrite. I know we're...
Nitrate, tomato, Let's
right,
call the whole thing off.
Basically chemicals.
Thank goodness you can keep all this straight.
So what's really important is that the nitrite will get converted in our bodies to nitric oxide. And nitric oxide, while it's a gas.
Gas.
Yes, it's
a gas.
We
want gas?
We want gas in our blood, yes.
Okay.
Because it acts like a hormone, and it's a vasodilating or blood vessel relaxing substance.
Okay, that sounds like a good thing to have.
Absolutely. So you want your vessels to be nice and loose and pliable.
Right.
You don't want them to be
all rigid.
Yeah, because that's what high blood pressure is, and that's a very common problem. So when we ingest leafy greens by chewing them 5 times a day, it gives us a steady supply of nitrite, which gets converted to nitric oxide. So our vessels are just bathed in this throughout the day.
They stay really zen.
Yes,
we
they do.
Zen vessels.
That's
heard
right.
It here.
Yep, zen vessels. And so all it takes is a handful of leafy greens, and it can be, the ones you mentioned. It could be spinach, everybody's favorite kale.
Like
It doesn't matter. It's just a handful with each meal, and your vessels are happy.
Even if they're cooked.
Yeah, it can be cooked.
Okay.
It can be frozen, canned, the whole spectrum. The best is when you actually pick it yourself, of course.
Well, yeah, that
But,
would be nice.
yeah.
We can't all do that. Those
No.
of you that can, lucky you.
Right. So anyways, there's a little science
Okay, so
digression.
chew the leafy greens.
Chewing them is the ideal.
So when I hide them in my smoothie, I'm kind of missing out on that.
Yeah, so the mechanical shearing is what releases the nitrate, and so obviously if you blend them, the nitrate is going to come out. So it's going to be less concentrated. You'll still benefit. And what I do is I have smoothies too, of course, but I take one handful that I chew.
While you're making, maybe chew a couple handfuls while you're cooking.
Yeah. As you throw it in,
while you're doing
take
the
a mouthful.
blender. Yeah, there you go. I do that anyway. I like spinach that way. Okay, let's see. What else is on our list? Of veggies. So all the leafy greens.
The cruciferous, of course.
Cruciferous, right? Brussels sprouts. I love
Yum.
roasting Brussels sprouts, or you can shred them up and add them to a salad. But yeah, roasted Brussels sprouts are pretty good with a little balsamic and.
And then there's the standby of cauliflower, which we do everything with.
That's actually what I make my hummus with. Some cauliflower and macadamia nuts. So half macadamia nuts, half cauliflower, blended up with some goodies in it. That's a yummy one. And then you can dip in that all of your bell peppers. I love bell peppers. So you try to then you can get all the phytonutrients of those pretty red and yellow. And you always want to do organic for the bell peppers for sure. That's one that you're always going to get organic. So yeah, that's a good snack that takes care of the crunch that you crave.
Nice and crisp.
And celery you can also use. I like that for the hummus and the crunch.
And one that I was actually personally surprised, which is great for dipping, asparagus.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, asparagus.
I never thought of that as a dipper, but
it
it's
is
delicious.
Good dipper. It has a different taste. That's right. We discovered that in the Renew food plan, I think. Didn't they have cold asparagus that they used?
Yeah.
I'd never eaten a raw asparagus. It was really good.
Yeah. It shocked me.
And it didn't have those strings like.
That's very different texture.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good dipping one and on the list. We've got what else was on there? Mushrooms.
Well, in the nightshades, as you mentioned, the peppers, eggplant.
Oh right, eggplant.
And
that's another good one.
That's a good sort of foundational vegetable that we use too, right?
Yeah, you can use that to make lasagna noodles, sort of thin slices of the eggplant.
Yeah.
And beyond meat crumbles between it and tomato sauce, because tomatoes maybe in moderation.
And some of that good cheese alternative.
Yep. Yeah. Lots of good recipes. Zucchini, that's one that I eat a lot. I even grate that on the dog food. The dog gets hemp seed, olive oil, and shredded zucchini on his food. If you almost know, he's spoiled. But yes, zucchini. I like to make zoodles out of it. I've got like a giant pencil sharpener. I just saute them in that vegan butter, and then throw some of that ready-made pesto that's made out of cashews and olive oil. That's really good. You can also slice those to make kind of lasagna noodly things. I've made tortillas out of zucchini. You can make all kinds of things out of zucchini, and that's good. You can eat all the zucchini you want. And then
The seeds.
oh right, that's nuts and seeds. We eat a lot of nuts and seeds.
Nuts are great snacks.
They are really good snacks. It's got your crunch. They're high in fat, so it keeps you, satisfied, satiated for a bit. And, you can get a lot of spiced almonds.
Or just simply salt for those that crave salt. Yeah.
Right. So, you have that kind of savory, crunchy.
Yeah.
And those are portable and don't require any refrigeration or anything. So those are great. I always like to have little, like those snack-sized baggies with nuts or whatever in my purse when I
ready.
Yes, out the ready. If you're stuck in an airport where they've got nothing but junk or whatever, you're prepared so you don't have a weak moment and be like, give me a Whopper. Do they still make those? I don't even know. Or Doritos. I like Doritos. But if you've got little snacks in your purse, you're less likely to give in to your Doritos.
I think that's a key point, is being prepared, because we all have cravings. We get hungry. We may have low energy, although that doesn't happen as much when you're ketogenic.
Right.
And if you're prepared for those things, then
that's the key.
You don't slip up as if you weren't prepared. So
right.
having good, readily available snacks like nuts, which I keep in the car and the desk
Right.
and pretty much everywhere, helps because that way you satisfy those urges and cravings,
Right.
but you don't actually fall victim to.
You've got some safe ready.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good one. Yes, and we'll get more into preparing and avoiding pitfalls also. So the nuts and the seeds. Not all nuts though are good, or I guess they.
Well, some are better than others.
Yeah, but macadamia nuts, they're expensive, which is why I do half cauliflower, half macadamia nuts. But those are nice and fatty, and they make a nice smooth hummus. And then avocados
Absolutely.
and olives like
Yep.
crazy.
And then our good friend the coconut.
Yeah. Yes. Good. Yes, coconut's good. They've got all kinds of coconut products out too.
Yeah.
But I love avocados. Even just cutting the avocado in half and sprinkling it with like cumin or salt and pepper or whatever, and just eating it out of the shell with a spoon. That's another handy snack that kind
Definitely.
of packs itself. I think is that kind of all the.
Yeah, I think that's most of the list. And then
Is there any fungus among us?
there's always a fungus among us. So absolutely, our good friend the mushroom is not actually a plant, but it has, has fiber and it has some nutrients that actually other vegetables really don't have. So for example, vitamin D is much higher in mushrooms than it is in any vegetable.
Mm-hmm. Or milk.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
say.
In fact,
We
if
drink
you're
milk
going
to get vitamin D.
if you're going to get vitamin D from food, mushrooms are one of your main sources.
Mushrooms have more than milk,
That's right.
and they're delicious.
They are. Yes, and there's a wide
so
variety.
many kinds.
Yeah.
And yes, portobello mushrooms are nice. You can dice up mushrooms, and they feel like ground beef. They kind of have that texture. And you could, portobellos, you could slice. That's like sliced meat. Maybe
Yeah.
do a taco-y mix with the portobellos and.
Yeah, and since
That
we're on
would-
that topic, how
Right.
can we
Some
not, friend?
asada. You could do carne asada with portobello strips.
Yeah. But how about our friend jackfruit?
Oh, jackfruit. I do like jackfruit. So if you like shredded beef, pulled pork, any of that kind of action, yeah, jackfruit is your best friend. It's really high in fiber.
Low net carbs.
Right, and really doesn't have a flavor itself. It's fibrous,
Yeah.
and it really does have the taste and texture of pulled, shredded meat. So, you can flavor it however you want. I love to make jackfruit tacos with, just putting chilies in with the jackfruit and put it in those yummy zucchini tortillas. They're kind of a pain in the butt to make, but you could do a taco bowl with jackfruit or something.
Right.
Cut some kind of a bowl
Yeah, just
rather
a
than make
carnitas
the
bowl.
tortillas. Right, yeah, that'd still be really good. So yeah, it's a lot of variety.
Yep.
It seems, looking at the list doesn't seem like much, but you can do a lot with it.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it's really similar to a paleo diet. We don't have grains.
Mm-hmm.
That would be one of the main things that we don't have. And the one thing that's missing from a paleo, which really is kind of emphasized in paleo, is root vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
But other than root vegetables, it's really very similar to paleo.
Right.
And people are pretty content with that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is actually a lot more than you would think, actually, when you think about keto-friendly plants and vegetables, and even fruits. We didn't mention fruits. Berries actually would fall in that category
Mm-hmm.
because they have actually low net carbs. So there is an array of food options for plant-based ketosis. Certainly the other things that would be in the fruit category, which would not be, would be the tropical fruits and citrus. There are a few citrus which in moderation you can have, but as a category, citrus has got too much carbs.
Too many sugar carbs, yeah.
Yeah.
They are good. But anyways, yeah, you gotta get a little creative, but it can be done, and I've been having a lot of fun learning and experimenting and getting creative with vegetables, making them different, all kinds of different yummy things. So.
Yeah. And it really helps because when you make these different sauces and different flavorings, you further broaden
Mm-hmm.
the repertoire, so to speak, in terms of what you can do with vegetables and still keep it keto friendly
Right. Mm-hmm.
and yummy.
And yummy. We gotta have yummy.
Definitely.
Yeah.